What's up, everybody? My name is CoalFire, and earlier today I recorded 2 episodes of games that I ended up having generally pretty negative opinions of. If you're wondering, both of these videos have been published. They came out yesterday. But it got me thinking about, like, my position on YouTube. Like, what the hell I am and what I do and where that puts me. I don't know. I've always tried to keep a kind of balance between creating content that is entertaining to watch from a general viewer's point of view. Something that I would watch. Sometimes I watch my own videos, and not to sound egotistical or anything, but there's been a couple episodes that I've watched back that have had me cracking up. Because in the moment, I'm not paying attention to what I'm saying, and watching it back, I get to relive that, and it's really damn fun. But at the same time, I also focus really heavily on analysis, criticism, and feedback. And for a lot of titles that I play, my input might be the only input they get. Whether that's a game that just nobody else decides to play, or it was like a little one-off project for a game jam that is just gonna get buried in the jam. And the way that my second video yesterday came off, the Call of Cthulhu episode 4, made me realize that, like, sometimes I get really, really pissed off at games. And it makes me wonder if, like, the feedback that I'm giving or the criticism that I'm dishing out might not be taken very seriously just due to the format that it's in. First off, I'm a fucking talking cartoon head with a shitty drawn cat sitting behind me. I think if I had spent a lot of time on a project that that kind of character would not come across as somebody who does, like, serious video game criticism. Now, that all being said, I don't really see myself as, like, an analyst or a critic. Like, I give player feedback. I feel like an everyman when it comes to giving my feedback and my thoughts, and when I end up giving criticisms or something, I like to take the point of view that maybe this is something that a lot of people in my position playing this game will feel. Because I don't have an education in game design. I am not a 3D artist. I don't work with game engines on a regular basis. I don't know how a lot of that shit works. But I feel like a lot of the time I do an okay job of getting my point across and saying, like, I feel like this aspect was done poorly, or this aspect was done really well. And if an aspect feels wrong, I can usually get my point across in the way that it feels off. So, for the most part, I feel like all of my criticisms and feedback, regardless of the emotional state that I am in, should always be taken with the grain of salt that, like, this guy is just a guy who plays games. I play a lot of games. More in the last year and a half of doing the channel than I have in the entirety of my 26 years of existence. Mostly to keep up with the 2-video-a-day schedule, which has lent me some interesting perspectives on, like, short-term development and mechanics and genres that I just don't see very often. Whether or not it's a big-scale project, a tiny one, 2D, 3D, strategy, shooter, action. I play a lot of like action games and platformers just because that's typically what appeals to me the most. Phone, not now. I'm doing a talkie thing. That was the Discord server. Hi, Discord. So I know this has been really rambly, but at the same time, like when I get frustrated or pissed at a game, it's because the game has put me in that mindset. And I think that alone can be a pretty good indicator of like good or bad game design or puzzle design or level layout or player communication. I've been getting on with that a lot lately, is communication and like developer intentions, because I've been playing some games lately that seem to have some issues communicating what it is that they want the player to be doing, and because of that, it's really difficult for the player to get a solid idea of the mechanics because they're missing such a huge piece of what it is they're supposed to be doing. So yeah, I don't know. This was just kind of a rambly and introspective piece about what the fuck that I do. I don't really see myself as like a games analyst, because like I see people who do that, like Mark Brown and Joseph Anderson and Reykjavik and those guys that I really look up to, and I really admire their work, who will sit down and play the shit out of one thing and just tear apart every little piece, see how it all fits together. And especially in like Reykjavik's cases, he goes back and he looks at the history of the development. That's so cool. But that's not what I do. I do like spur of the moment first impressions and things that I think the game could do better. And I don't think that's games analysis. I don't think that's games criticism. I think it's just player feedback. And the reason that I really wanted to start doing that is because, one, the indie community is so saturated with games that there aren't a lot of people who curate stuff like that. So I wanted to give back to them for what I'm kind of taking from them by playing the games on the channel. I'm taking their work and I'm turning it into a product that I'm marketing, honestly. So it seems unfair that, like, of course I'm giving them some free advertising, but it feels unfair to me if I take their game and play it and then just leave it there. So I started giving feedback because I felt like I needed to give something in return to developers who were making these games that I was playing on the channel. And it's worked out into this weird let's play feedback criticism hybrid that I think is kind of unique here. Now, I'm not saying nobody else does it. I just am not that aware of anybody else who does that kind of thing in the hybrid sort of way. But yeah, this has been a super, super weird and rambly kind of just me getting my thoughts out there. I haven't done one of these in a while. So yeah. And on top of all of that, I am not without fault. I make mistakes all the time. I do. And sometimes they're really beneficial for developers to see, like, oh shit, I didn't know that was the case, or oh shit, I didn't know that wasn't well communicated. And other times it's just me being a complete fucking dumbass. And you know, I play so many goddamn games that there's bound to be some crossover where I get into these habits that end up being detrimental to other games. And if people like call me out on that kind of shit, then I completely understand it. I'm not beyond criticism. All I do is give criticism. So I've got to be able to take it myself. The one thing is that, like, the face cam, it's really hit or miss with some people. Some people absolutely hate it. Some people like it. And truth of the matter is, like, if that's the case, then this channel might not just might not be for you. And that's completely fine. It really is. I don't expect everybody who comes here to like what they see or enjoy what I'm doing. And it's just like fucking genres of music. There's shit that I love, stuff that I don't, and stuff in every genre that's an exception to those feelings. So yeah. Ramble over. Thank you so much for watching. My name is CoalFire, and I will see you next time.